Welcome to another episode of the Power Talk Show. Our guest today is a global recognized expert and a keynote speaker. She is also the best selling author specializing in business relations and networking, personal branding. She is also the founder of Human Factory by Lirone Glikman. Lirone, welcome to the Power Talk Show.
Navin, thank you so much for having me. I'm really, really excited about this conversation. How are you today?
Thank you so much. I want to start the conversation by understanding what do you believe? How does networking help a business? And I want to also understand your journey towards your book, The Super Sales Connector.
Wow. Okay. Thank you. So, it's all about people. I always say, like, we all communicate with people all the time. Humanity thrives through connections and communications since the tribe days until today. But have you ever had a business relationship class or communication or networking class?
No.
Nobody teaches that, right? And I mean, it's interesting. It's kind of a paradox, right? Because it's the most human skill that we all do all the time, but nobody teaches how to do it. And the reason, there are different reasons, but I think the reason that most of us don't actively learn it is because research shows that about 90% of people has some kind of social anxiety, meaning that we all have some kind of fear of being rejected or speaking with people. And this is very high level. That we'll dive deep. But one of the reasons that I have decided to, as a business development and marketer, to focus on the human component, on the business relationship is in business, is because I realized that we all do it all the time, but nobody teaches that how to do it. And again, there are different blockages around the way. And after building a methodology based on my experience moving by myself to Sydney, Australia, and getting a job within 3 months and a radio show within 1 month and with horrible English, and years later moving to New York without knowing anyone and finding a job within 3 weeks, I realized that, hey, maybe I'm onto something. So I started researching, interviewing top leaders in the world on networking and looking at the science as well. And I developed a methodology, the 6-pillar methodology. I taught it all over the world for the last 12 years. And after 12 years, it's time for the book, right? So the Super Connectors Playbook, it's a bestseller on Amazon. And that's basically what led me, for once, focusing on the business relationship component in business, because I think it's everything. It allowed us to fulfill ourselves. And second, after teaching it around the world in 27 countries, was the time to share the knowledge through a book.
Well, thank you so much, Liron, for sharing that with us. I want to understand, are you focused or do you believe the book is only for individuals who are into business, or it can also help an individual to build confidence, to build their own network?
I love your question. So the book is actually for everyone because the methodology is right for different type of audiences. I like to divide it into 3 audiences. First of all, any person who strives to achieve more in life, in personal and professional settings. This methodology, the 6-pillar methodology, is right for anyone who want to achieve things. It's about understanding what's your goal and then how to lead your network authentically and strategically towards achieving it. So one would be anybody who wants to look for a job or achieve more. Second would be, I would say, business owners or startups that want to get clients. And third would be people who want to climb the corporate ladder and get more, promoted in their own companies. So looking for a job, looking for clients, or want to promote themselves within their organization.
So, what do you think, Liron? What is the biggest challenge today when it comes to networking?
It's an interesting question because on the one hand, to actually communicate with people, we can all physically do it, right? If I'll tell you, Navin, go to this person across the road and say, hi, my name is Navin, I guess technically we can all do it. So one of the biggest challenges is actually our mind. And one is that many of us, and same with me, are sometimes uncomfortable reaching out to people, whether it's online or offline. So I would say that the fear of getting rejected, or even the fear of success, the fear of people will say yes to us, that's one of the biggest challenges that I see with many people. And then there is the second stage where is, who should I approach and why should they help us? And then when people react to us or not react to us, many times people don't know how to maintain relationship. And that's another big challenge. For example, I just came back from a book tour in Asia. I spoke in Vietnam and in Thailand. And just next to this computer, I have a nice pile of business cards. And it's the challenge is always how to follow up. Who should I follow up with? How to make sure that this meeting will thrive into a business that is relevant for both of us. So the first thing I would say is actually reaching out. The second challenge is to maintain relationship with the relevant people. So that's, I would say, the two main challenges that essentially can block or help us achieve client success, business, and fulfillment.
That's very interesting. And Lira, you run a global training and consulting company, the Human Factory. How did that come into play, and what kind of services are you providing under the Human Factory?
So, under the Human Factor, we provide different services. On the one hand, we do workshops around the world on business relationship within the organization or for businesses or startup founders, how to build a brand that supports their growth, again, for those different audiences. And also, I train in some of the top universities in the world, from IE in Spain to Cornell in New York. And right now, I was in University of Hanoi University of Industry and many more. So one hand would be training workshops. The other one, we work one-on-one with founders and businesses and managers and companies and traded companies on their personal brand. There is this kind of new term that says that called founder-led branding or founder-led marketing. So we really help putting out the persona, not only on LinkedIn, but also on stages, on podcasts, on tier one media, and even within their face-to-face one-on-one environment. So we do this one-on-one, helping the managers and founders build their brand. And on the other hand, workshops and training for different people, from management to women and to developers and so on.
That's very interesting, Liron, because you said something about personal branding and founder led companies scaling and growing. How easy or how difficult it is to maintain a personal brand without being or seeing coming out as a fake or a fake guru?
I love, Navin, that you asked that, because first of all, like similar to business relationship, I think building a brand also has a bad reputation. I would like to ask you, what's the first association that comes to mind when you hear about the word personal branding?
How do I market and position myself?
So that's basically it. And through researches that I've done through my community and also read, they're like the people that are about 15% in organizations and people that work in corporate understand that they need to manage their brand, 15%. So it means that all the rest usually are not so, either not so aware of it, or are has some they're intimidated by it because, and that's going back to your question, they feel like it's fake, or they don't want to market themselves, or they don't want to come across as too bossy or too, kind of pushing themselves too much. And that's, again, that's a lack of education or understanding what a brand is. So the best way to brand yourself is, first of all, to know that you don't have to lie or you don't have to be someone else. You don't have to push yourself. It's really about that the best way to market yourself without marketing yourself is about talking on facts, sharing actions, sharing stories. So I actually just came back from a book tour in Asia. That's a fact. And it's a fact that I spoke in for 5 different places and audiences. So when I share it, it's not that I'm bragging, I'm sharing a fact. The issue here is, how do I do it? If I'm going to tell you, Navin, I'm the best speaker in the world and I just had, so it's not that comes across as bragging. But if you share it, hey, I'm so honored, and I am, to be invited to share my knowledge with people in across 5 places in Asia. That's another way of saying it, which is more, I would say, humble and truthful to who I am and to my brand. So on the one hand, it's understanding, is to share your actions and facts and even numbers of things that you've done. And on the other hand is how you share it in a way that is congruent to your personality and who you are.
That's very interesting and very insightful as well. So I noticed there are many platforms or many AI based tools that help develop your profile, your personal
Mhm.
branding, your image, your content. How does that come into play right now? How does technology and AI is helping people build their brand, company brand as well as their personal brand?
Exactly. So there are many tools out there, and I would say the main one would be the LLMs like ChatGPT and Gemini and so on, because they not only can help you with content, and they can also help you with planning and defining how to express your brand, which is even more important than content, because as you know, so we all use it. Let's not, let's not play that we don't. But the problem is that so many people sound the same on LinkedIn and on social media. And the real differentiator, which is still hard for all those AI tools to use, is to bring your own personality and to bring your emotion to the conversation. So I would use all those tools to first of all kind of download who I am, my values, my strengths, what do I care about, what's important for me, how do I approach people and situations, and then also I would try to build a plan with it. So use it to build a plan for the messages that I want to share or for the product that I want to share. But then the best tip that I got from an investor from New York said that I should write the first text. So I shouldn't tell it, just write me a text about X. I should write the first draft and give the chat the first draft and then guide them on what I want them to do with it. Because if I write the first draft with my words, there is more likely it will save my voice. So that would be one of the main tips I would give in order to keep your authentic voice out there and still use the benefits that the LLM can give us in planning our brand and planning what we want to do. And also I'm right now actually preparing kind of a short training at PDFs on different prompts you can use to understand your brand values, but also how to communicate them in the best authentic way.
That's very interesting. And I like the point where you said you give the initial prompt to ChatGPT and
Yeah.
then they can help you try the draft. Liron, coming back to your book, I want to
Mhm.
understand, are you planning to make this into an LMS or a course-based module where, people can come in, subscribe and get more out of your courses and out of your book?
Yeah, so essentially, I'm very active on Instagram and on LinkedIn. And as a professional, and I would also say content creator, it's always important for me to share, on the one hand, solutions to challenges that people have, like we just talked about, and also share the latest, I would say, AI prompts or tools. So I think it's our job as also people who has audiences to keep them up with the latest technology. And these days, it goes so fast. And I always say that technology improves and changes so quickly, but the human brain and our human needs stay the same. So as AI will evolve, and I think I see my job as, again, as a people person and someone who teaches how to connect with people, is to see how we can use technology in the best way, but still keep our human factor, keep our humanity, and use the AI as a co-pilot. And I also invite yourself and your viewers and listeners to use it, to even ask the chat and communicate, how can I share myself in the best authentic way, but still in the most efficient way using those tools? Because there's so many different solutions out there. And I would say it's even exciting to discover them.
Absolutely. And it's
Yeah.
very hard to keep a track of all the tunes, that are coming into the market. Liron, you have worked and you are currently training a lot of startups, Fortune 500 companies. What has been your biggest lesson so?
My biggest lesson so far, I think it's really important to always be learning, as they say. I'm a curious person. I've always loved learning. And I see that in this day and age, we need to learn more and more all the time. As a startup founder, there is so much to learn. I say even, startup founders, usually they have one strength when they start. Maybe they're marketers, maybe they're developers, maybe they're product people. And then they need to learn how to build a company, how to raise money, how to manage employees, how to use their money right, how to grow the company, marketing, networking, branding. So we always have to learn. And in this day and age, on the one hand, there is so much knowledge out there and so many tools, but it's easier than ever to get it because you can just write a smart prompt on any chat, or even discuss or follow people who are expert in AI. So for me, one of the lessons was to keep learning lessons all the time and to keep learning. And the other one, and it's may not be the main thing you would thought I would say, but it's about the mindset. How can we stretch our mindset to do more, to give more value, to be able to be better and improve all the time. So these would be my two main lessons that I'm always kind of trying to keep pushing forward. I think these are the foundations for any person and growing business.
Absolutely. That's wonderful. How would you describe your leadership style?
Very human-centric. I mean, I'm very caring and conscious about people around me on the one hand. On the other hand, I push higher. I push high. I challenge my people sometimes in a good way. And I want them to think how they could do things better, or, what can be done in a different way. And I would say that I'm also a dreamer. And I think the most dangerous people are the dreamers that are doers. So I won't lie. I'm not able to achieve all my dreams, but I dream and my team dream with me, and we're able to do as much as we can. If you're a dreamer and a doer, you can make a good impact on the world.
Great. Dreamer and a doer. Absolutely amazing. One piece of advice that you got that changed your perspective towards your professional and personal life.
Wow. Okay, so one of the most best advice I use almost every day, there are actually two advices. One is, remember, what do I want to focus on? We have so many distractions these days, if it's through our phone, through, the environment or news or whatever. And even sometimes we all have those loops of thoughts of people who upset us, or, our mind always working. And I always catch myself and ask, okay, what do I want to focus on? Is this WhatsApp message or person that I'm thinking about, is it serving me for good? Is this helping grow, or is it holding me back? So really kind of wake up every now and again, a few hours a day, and ask, what do I want to focus on? Is it helping me grow or taking me back? So this is one of the most important lessons that really help me move forward better. And the second lesson is what I call the oldest trick in the book, to help people, to get people willingly want to help us. Because when we talk about business life, we need one another, and many times we are uncomfortable asking people for help. And the best way that I found to get people willingly help us is actually asking for advice. Because when we ask people for advice, like you just did now, most of us are happy to share our advice. We feel we are kind of honored to being asked this question. And usually we give more than advice. We say, you know what, I won't give you the advice, I give you even more. Because when we give some answer, we kind of get into this, and most people want to give more. And on the other side, if I'm uncomfortable and I don't want to give you an advice, I can easily get away with it, saying, maybe let's talk in a month. I'm not so free right now. Asking people for advice doesn't obligate them to answer you, but usually if they do choose to answer, they usually give you the most amazing result or piece of information. So remember, what do you want to focus on, and is it helping you grow or not? And asking people for advice as the best way to get people to willingly want to help you.
Absolutely. That's wonderful. And that's something even I am learning today. It's amazing. Thank you so much, Liron, for being part of our podcast today. It was a great conversation. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Navin. And I'll also share that my book is on Amazon, the Super Connectors Playbook. This is really a playbook to fulfill yourself. And thank you so much for giving me this stage and possibility to get to know you and speak to your audience. I really appreciate it, and keep sharing amazing knowledge.
Thank you so much.